Princess Lyra stood at the tall window of her palace, looking out at the purple sky of her home planet. The twin moons cast silver light on the crystal towers of the Valyrian capital city. She had lived here for over 200 years, but tonight felt different. Tonight, another suitor was coming to ask for her hand in marriage. She sighed deeply. This would be the 57th male to try to win her heart. Like all the others, he would fail. Not because she wanted him to fail, but because something terrible always happened when males tried to court her. "Your Highness," called her servant Kira from behind. "Lord Thane of the Crystal Worlds has arrived. He waits in the Great Hall." Lyra turned around slowly. Her long silver hair caught the moonlight, and her violet eyes showed sadness instead of excitement. "Tell me, Kira, what do you think will happen this time?" Kira looked down at the floor. She had served the princes for 50 years and knew the pattern well. "The same as always, my lady. He will look at you, fall under your spell, and lose his mind with love." "And then?" Lyra asked, though she already knew the answer. "Then he will become like a puppet. He will follow you everywhere, agree with everything you say, and forget who he used to be, just like all the others." Lyra nodded sadly. This was her curse, though she did not understand why it happened. Every male who tried to love her lost himself completely. They became empty shells, caring only about pleasing her. It was not love at all. It was a prison. She walked slowly toward the great hall. Her long dress made soft sounds on the marble floor. The palace guards bowed as she passed, but they kept their distance. Even they were not safe from whatever power she carried. The great hall was huge, with a ceiling so high it seemed to touch the stars. Golden pillars held up the roof, and beautiful paintings covered the walls. In the center of the room stood Lord Thane, a tall warrior from the Crystal Worlds. Thane was handsome and strong. His blue skin sparkled like diamonds, and his forearms showed the muscles of a great fighter. He wore the finest armor and carried weapons that cost more than most planets made in a year. "Princess Lyra," he said with a bow, "I have traveled across the galaxy to meet you. Your beauty is known in every star system." Lyra watched his face carefully. At first he looked normal. His eyes were bright with hope and excitement. But then, like always, something changed. His pupils grew wide, his mouth opened slightly. His hands began to shake. Within seconds, the strong warrior became something else entirely. "My goddess," he whispered, falling to his knees. "I live only to serve you. Command me, and I will do anything. My armies, my planets, my very soul belongs to you." Lyra felt sick to her stomach. Another one lost. Another mind destroyed by whatever curse followed her. "Guards," she called. "Please help Lord Thane to the guest quarters. Make sure he gets good care." The guards carefully helped Thane to his feet. He did not resist, but he kept staring at Lyra with empty, worshipful eyes. As they led him away, he kept repeating, "My goddess, my everything, my reason for living." When the hall was empty again, Lyra sat down on her throne. It was made of white stone and decorated with precious gems, but it felt more like a prison chair than a seat of power. Kira approached quietly. "My lady, the council wants to speak with you." "About finding a husband, I suppose," Lyra said with no emotion in her voice. "Yes, your highness. They say the royal family needs an heir. They want you to choose someone soon." Lyra laughed, but there was no joy in the sound. "Choose someone? Kira, I cannot choose anyone. Every male who comes near me loses his mind." "How? Can I marry a puppet? How can I have children with someone who cannot think for himself?" She stood up and began pacing around the throne. "The council does not understand. They think I am being difficult. They think I am too proud to marry. But the truth is, I am cursed to be alone forever." Kira had heard this many times before, but she still felt sorry for her mistress. "Perhaps. The curse can be broken, my lady. Perhaps somewhere in the galaxy there is someone who can resist it." "After 57 failures?" Lyra shook her head. "I have met warriors, scholars, princes, and merchants. I have met males from every known species. Tall ones, short ones, strong ones, smart ones. It does not matter. They all become the same empty shells. She walked back to the window and looked up at the stars. Sometimes I wonder if I should just pick one of them and accept my fate. At least the council would be happy. But you would not be happy, my lady. No, Lyra agreed. I would be more alone than ever. It is one thing to be by yourself. It is another thing to be surrounded by people who are not really there anymore. Far across the palace, in the council chamber, 5 old Valyrians sat around a crystal table. Their leader, High Counselor Zara, spoke in a tired voice. The princess refuses another suitor. This cannot continue. Our people need a royal heir. Our enemies grow stronger while our royal line grows weaker. What can we do? Asked Counselor Bram. We cannot force her to marry. Perhaps we can, said Counselor Vex, the youngest of the group. There are laws about royal duty. If the princess will not choose, maybe the council should choose for her. The others looked shocked. You speak of forcing the princes into marriage? Asked Zara. I speak of saving our empire, Vex replied. Personal happiness is less important than the good of all Valyrians. Meanwhile, far away on a small blue planet called Earth, a young human named Alex Rivera was packing his bags. He had just been chosen for Earth's first diplomatic mission to the stars. Alex was not the strongest human, or the smartest, or the most handsome. But he was good at solving problems and talking to people. He was also brave, though he did not think of himself that way. Remember, said Ambassador Torres, his boss, we are representing all of humanity. These aliens are much more advanced than us. We must be respectful but not afraid. Alex nodded as he put his few belongings into a small bag. What do you know about these Valyrians? They have an empire that covers hundreds of star systems. They can read minds and move objects with their thoughts. Their technology is thousands of years ahead of ours. Sounds intimidating, Alex said. It is, but they agreed to meet with us, which means they see some value in humanity. Do not let them down. As Alex prepared for the journey that would change his life, Princess Lyra was making a decision of her own. Kira, she called, send word to the council. Tell them I will meet with one more group of suitors. But after that, if nothing changes, I will choose to remain alone forever. Are you sure, my lady? Lyra looked one more time at the stars outside her window. I am sure. I would rather rule alone than pretend to love someone who is not really there. Neither Lyra nor Alex knew it yet, but their paths were about to cross. And when they did, everything would change. 3 weeks later, the human ship arrived at the Valyrian capital. It was a small, ugly vessel compared to the beautiful alien ships that usually visited the planet. The Valyrian guards looked at it with curiosity and some disgust. These humans, one guard said to another, they build their ships like metal boxes. No style at all. I heard they do not even have mind powers, the second guard replied. How do they communicate? How do they know what others are thinking? Inside the ship, Alex Rivera was putting on his best diplomatic uniform. It was simple, compared to the fancy clothes of other alien visitors, but it was clean and neat. Ambassador Torres was nervous, checking his notes again and again. Remember, Torres said, be polite but not weak. These people respect strength. Got it, Alex replied, adjusting his tie. Just treat them like any other people. They are not like any other people, Alex. They can read thoughts and move objects with their minds. They have lived for centuries. Show proper respect. Alex nodded, but inside he was thinking that people were people. No matter where they came from or what powers they had, Princess Lyra watched the human ship land from her palace window. She had agreed to meet these new aliens, but she was not excited about it. The council had told her that humans were primitive and weak. They had no special abilities and lived for less than 100 years. Why should I waste time with such simple creatures? She had asked. Because, High Counselor Zara had explained, they might be useful. Their planet has resources we need, and they seem eager to trade. Now, as Lyra prepared to meet them, she wondered if this would be just another boring diplomatic meeting. At least these humans could not court her. The council had made it clear that marriage to such a primitive species was out of the question. An hour later, Alex and Ambassador Torres were led into the great hall. Alex looked around in wonder. The palace was more beautiful than anything he had ever seen. Crystal walls caught the light and threw rainbows everywhere. The ceiling was so high it seemed to disappear into the clouds. "Impressive," he whispered. To Torres, "Remember, do not stare," Torres whispered back. When Princess Lyra entered the hall, Alex understood why Torres had warned him. She was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. Her silver hair flowed like liquid metal, and her violet eyes seemed to hold the light of distant stars. She moved with grace that made her seem like she was floating, but Alex did not fall to his knees. He did not lose his mind. He simply thought, "She's very pretty," and then focused on the diplomatic meeting ahead. Torres bowed deeply. "Your Highness, I am Ambassador Torres of Earth. This is my assistant, Captain Alex Rivera. We are honored to meet you." Alex gave a polite bow, not too deep, not too shallow. "Princess," he said simply. Lyra stared at him in shock. Every male who had ever seen her became instantly obsessed. They fell to their knees, declared their love, and lost all ability to think clearly. But this human just stood there, looking at her with normal, curious eyes. "You may sit," she said, her voice a little shaky. She was so surprised that she almost forgot the formal words she was supposed to say. The three of them sat at a small table. Torres began talking about trade agreements and resource sharing. Alex listened politely, occasionally taking notes. When Torres mentioned Earth's mining capabilities, Alex added some technical details about extraction methods. "That is interesting," Lyra said, looking directly at Alex. "Your species has found efficient ways to gather resources without destroying the environment?" "We're still learning," Alex replied honestly. "We made a lot of mistakes in the past. But we're getting better at taking care of our planet while still getting what we need." Lyra was amazed. Not only was Alex unaffected by her presence, but he was also having a normal conversation with her. When was the last time a male had talked to her about something other than her beauty or his desire to serve her? "Tell me more about these mistakes," she said, genuinely curious. For the next hour, Alex explained how humans had learned to balance progress with environmental protection. He talked about failures and successes, admitting when humans had been wrong and describing how they had fixed their errors. Lyra found herself leaning forward, interested in every word. This human was not trying to impress her or win her favor. He was just sharing information, treating her like an equal partner in conversation. "Fascinating," she said when he finished. "Your species learns from failure. Many advanced races think they are too smart to make mistakes." "Oh, we make plenty of mistakes," Alex said with a smile. "The trick is making new mistakes instead of repeating the old ones." Torres looked nervous. He thought Alex was being too casual with the princess. But Lyra was smiling, really smiling, for the first time in months. "Captain Rivera," she said, "what do you think of our city?" "It's beautiful," Alex replied. "The crystal architecture is amazing, but I'm curious about the engineering. How do you keep buildings that tall from falling down? And how do you make the crystals strong enough to support all that weight?" Lyra blinked in surprise. Most visitors praised the beauty of Valyrian architecture, but this human was asking about how it worked. "Would you like to see the engineering systems?" "Really?" Alex's eyes lit up with interest. "That would be great." Torres tried to interrupt. "Your Highness, we do not want to take up too much of your valuable time. "Nonsense," Lyra said, standing up. "I have time. Come, Captain Rivera. I will show you how we build our towers." As they walked through the palace, Lyra found herself answering Alex's questions about Valyrian technology. He asked smart questions and seemed genuinely interested in learning. When she explained how they use sonic waves to shape crystal, he suggested a few modifications that might make the process more efficient. "You know," he said, looking at a crystal beam, "if you adjusted the frequency just slightly, you might be able to reduce the internal stress. That would make the crystal even stronger." Lyra stopped walking. "You understand our technology?" "Basic principles," Alex said with a shrug. "Sound waves work the same way everywhere in the universe. Physics is physics." "For the first time in Over 2 centuries, Princess Lyra felt excited about talking to a male. This human was not worshipping her or trying to win her favor. He was just being himself, sharing his knowledge and asking questions like a friend would. That evening, after the humans had returned to their ship, Lyra sat in her private chambers thinking about the day. Kira brought her dinner, but she barely touched it. "My lady," Kira said carefully, "you seem different tonight." "Different how?" "Happy. You are smiling." Lyra realized Kira was right. She was smiling, and she had been smiling all evening. The human Alex, he was unusual. Unusual? How? He looked at me like I was a person, not a goddess. He asked me questions about things I know, not about my beauty or my royal status. He treated me like— She paused, searching for the right words. Like I was his equal. Kira looked worried. "My lady, surely you do not have feelings for this." "Primitive human?" "No," Lyra said quickly. "Of course not." I enjoyed having a normal conversation for once. But even as she said it, she knew it was not entirely true. For the first time in her long life, she had met a male who saw her as more than just a beautiful princess. And that scared her more than any curse ever could. Meanwhile, on the human ship, Torres was lecturing Alex about proper diplomatic behavior. "You were too casual with the princess," Torres said. "You should have been more formal, more respectful." "She seemed to like the conversation," Alex replied, reviewing his notes from the day. "That is not the point. These aliens are far above US in technology and power. We cannot afford to offend them." Alex looked up from his notes. "Sir, with respect, I think treating them like normal people worked better than treating them like gods. The princess seemed more relaxed when we talked normally." Torres shook his head. "You do not understand alien psychology, Alex. Just try to be more careful tomorrow." But Alex was not thinking about tomorrow's meetings. He was thinking about the princess's smile when he had asked about crystal engineering. It was the smile of someone who loved learning and sharing knowledge. He had seen the same smile on the faces of engineers and scientists back on Earth. Maybe these aliens were not so different from humans after all. Over the next few days, the trade talks continued. Ambassador Torres and the Valerian Council discussed boring details about mining rights and shipping routes. But Princess Lyra found herself asking Alex to join her for private tours of the palace. "I want to show you our power systems," she said. "On the second day, you might find them interesting." Alex did find them interesting. The Valerians used crystal technology that turned starlight into energy. But their system had a problem. It wasted too much power during cloudy days. "What if you stored extra energy during clear days?" Alex suggested. "On Earth, we use batteries." "You could probably do something similar with your crystals." Lyra stared at him. "That is actually a very good idea. Our engineers never thought of that." "Sometimes you need fresh eyes to see a solution," Alex said with a smile. That afternoon, Lyra called her chief engineer, Master Kor. He was an old Valerian who had built power systems for over 300 years. "Master Kor," Lyra said, "I want you to listen to an idea from our human guest." Kor looked at Alex with doubt. "Your Highness, surely a primitive human cannot understand our advanced technology." "Just listen," Lyra said firmly. Alex explained his battery idea. At first, Kor looked annoyed. But as Alex drew simple diagrams and explained the concept, the old engineer's expression changed. "This could work," Kor admitted slowly. "It would solve our power shortage problem during storm season." "I told you," Lyra said, smiling at Alex. "Human ideas are not so primitive after all." Word spread quickly through the palace that the human had solved an engineering problem that had puzzled Valerian scientists for decades. Some nobles were impressed, others were insulted. "How dare a primitive human suggest improvements to our technology?" said Lord Vex to a group of other nobles. "This is embarrassing." "Perhaps," said Lady Mora, "we should consider that these humans might be more useful than we thought." "Useful as servants, maybe," Vex replied, "but not as equals." Meanwhile, Lyra was spending more and more time with Alex. She showed him the palace gardens, where crystal trees grew in beautiful patterns. She took him to the observatory where Valyrian astronomers studied distant stars. "Your people have built something amazing here," Alex said as they stood on a high balcony looking over the city. "But I noticed something interesting." "What?" "You have incredible technology, but you do not seem very happy. Everyone I have met looks serious, even sad." Lyra was quiet for a long moment. "Happiness is not considered important in Valyrian culture. We value achievement and perfection." "That sounds lonely," Alex said softly. "It is," Lyra admitted. "Very lonely." They stood in comfortable silence, watching the sunset paint the crystal towers in golden light. For the first time in centuries, Lyra felt peaceful. "Alex," she said finally, "can I ask you something personal?" "Sure. On your planet, do people marry for love?" Alex looked surprised by the question. "Most of the time, yes. Why?" "Valyrian marriages are arranged for political reasons. Love is considered a weakness." "That is sad," Alex said. "Love makes life worth living." Lyra felt something strange in her chest, a warm feeling she had never experienced before. "What does love feel like?" Alex thought for a moment. "It feels like finding someone who makes you want to be a better person. Someone you can talk to about anything. Someone who sees the real you and likes what they see?" "I think," Lyra said quietly, "I would like to experience that someday." "I think you will," Alex said. "You are too special to be alone forever." That evening, High Counselor Zara called an emergency meeting. "Princess Lyra is spending too much time with this human," she announced to the council. "It is unseemly," agreed Counselor Brem. "A princess should not associate so closely with primitive aliens." "I agree," said Lord Vex. "This human is a bad influence. He makes her question our ways." "What do you suggest we do?" asked Zara. "End the trade talks," Vex said. "Send the humans away before they cause more problems." "But the trade agreement would benefit our empire," protested Counselor Mora. "Some things are more important than trade," Vex replied. "Like maintaining the dignity of the royal family." The next morning, Zara visited Princess Lyra in her private study. She found the princess reading a book about human history that Alex had given her. "My dear," Zara said, sitting down across from Lyra, "we need to talk." "About what?" "About your friendship with this human." Lyra looked up from her book. "What about it?" "It is inappropriate." "You are a princess. He is a primitive alien. People are talking." "Let them talk," Lyra said, returning to her book. Zara was shocked. The princess had never spoken to her with such disrespect before. "Lyra, you must end this friendship immediately." "No, excuse me?" Lyra closed the book and looked directly at Zara. "I said no. For the first time in my life I have found someone who treats me like a person instead of a symbol. I will not give that up. Child, you are being foolish. This human will leave soon. Do not attach yourself to something temporary." "Maybe it does not have to be temporary," Lyra said quietly. Zara stood up in alarm. "You cannot be serious. You are considering a relationship with this primitive creature?" "Alex is not primitive. He is intelligent, kind, and honest. He has solved problems that our best engineers could not solve. He has taught me things about leadership and happiness that centuries of royal education never did. He has no psychic powers. He will live for less than a century. He comes from a backwards planet. How could you even consider him as a partner?" "Because," Lyra said, standing up to face Zara, "he is the only male I have ever met who sees me as Lyra, not as Princess Lyra. He is the only one who is not affected by whatever curse follows me." Zara's face went pale. "You told him about the curse?" "I did not have to. It does not work on him. He treats me normally." "That is impossible. Is it? Or is it possible that my curse only affects males with psychic abilities? Humans have no mental powers, so maybe they are immune." Zara sat down heavily. This was worse than she had thought. If the princess was right, if humans were immune to her curse, then marriage to a human was actually possible. "Even if that is true," Zara said slowly, "the council will never approve such a union." "Then perhaps the council needs to change." Lyra replied. That afternoon, Alex found Lyra in the garden. She looked upset. What is wrong? He asked. The council wants me to stop spending time with you. They think our friendship is inappropriate. Alex felt disappointed, but he tried to hide it. Maybe they are right. I'm just a human. You are a princess. We come from different worlds. Do you want to stop being my friend? Lyra asked. No, Alex said honestly. I enjoy talking with you. You are one of the smartest people I have ever met, but I do not want to cause problems for you. You are not causing problems. You are solving them. Alex, in just a few days, you have helped me see things differently. You have made me think about what I want from life instead of just what is expected of me. Alex looked at her carefully. What do you want from life? I want what you described yesterday. I want someone who sees the real me, someone I can talk to about anything, someone who makes me want to be better. They looked at each other in silence. Both of them knew that something important was happening between them, but neither wanted to say it out loud. The trade talks will end soon, Alex said finally. I will have to go back to Earth. I know, Lyra said sadly. But maybe, Alex said carefully, this does not have to be goodbye forever. Maybe there will be other diplomatic missions. Maybe we will see each other again. Maybe, Lyra agreed, but she did not sound hopeful. That night, Lord Vex met secretly with several other nobles. The princess is falling under the humans' influence, he told them. If we do not act soon, she might do something foolish. What do you suggest? Asked one of the nobles. The human must be removed, Vex said, permanently. You mean kill him? I mean protect our empire from alien corruption. The princess is too important to be lost to primitive emotions. The others nodded in agreement. They began planning how to eliminate the human threat without causing a diplomatic incident, but they underestimated both Alex's resourcefulness and Lyra's determination. The princess had lived for over 2 centuries, and she had learned to recognize danger. She had also learned that sometimes the greatest dangers came from within. 2 days before the humans were supposed to leave, Lord Vex put his plan into action. He had convinced 6 other nobles to join him, including Master Kor, who was angry that a human had solved his engineering problems. Tonight we take control of the palace, Vex told his followers. The princess has been corrupted by alien influence. For the good of the empire, we must remove her from power and eliminate the human threat. What about the other council members? Asked one of the conspirators. They will understand once we explain the situation. If not, they can be replaced too. Vex had a special weapon, a psychic amplifier that could control minds from a distance. Most Valyrians could only use their mental powers up close, but this device made them much stronger. He planned to use it to control the palace guards and force them to arrest both Lyra and Alex. At midnight, Vex and his followers moved through the palace corridors. The amplifier hummed softly as Vex activated it. One by one, the guards stopped their patrols and turned to face him with blank, controlled eyes. Secure all exits, Vex commanded. No one enters or leaves the palace. The controlled guards moved like robots, following his orders without question. Within an hour, Vex controlled most of the palace security force. Princess Lyra was in her private chambers, unable to sleep. She kept thinking about Alex's question from earlier that day. What will you do after I leave? She had not been able to answer him then, but now she knew. She would be miserable. For the first time in her life, she had found someone who made her happy. Someone who saw her as more than just a title or a pretty face. And tomorrow he would be gone forever. A soft knock at her door interrupted her thoughts. Come in, she called, expecting to see Kira. Instead, 2 palace guards entered. But something was wrong with their eyes. They looked empty, like the male suitors who had fallen under her curse. Your Highness, one guard said in a flat voice, you must come with us. What is happening? Lyra asked, standing up. Lord Vex requires your presence in the throne room. Lyra felt a chill of fear. Vex was ambitious and had always questioned her decisions. If he was moving against her now, it could only mean one thing, rebellion. I am not going anywhere, she said firmly. Tell Lord Vex that I will speak with him in the morning. The guard stepped forward. You will come now, Your Highness? By force if necessary. Lyra realized these guards were being controlled. She tried to use her own psychic powers to break Vex's hold on them, but the mental control was too strong. Someone was using an amplifier. She backed toward her private balcony. "Stay back," she warned. The guards advanced. Lyra had no choice. She used her telekinetic powers to shove them away and ran for the balcony. The palace was built like a maze, with secret passages and hidden rooms. If she could reach the maintenance tunnels, she might be able to escape, but as she climbed down from her balcony, more controlled guards appeared. They surrounded her, cutting off her escape routes. "This way, Your Highness," they said in unison. Meanwhile, Alex was awakened by strange sounds in the corridor outside his guest room. He looked out his window and saw guards moving in perfect formation, like soldiers marching to war. Something was very wrong. He quietly opened his door and peered out. The hallway was empty, but he could hear voices coming from the direction of the throne room. He decided to investigate. As he moved through the palace, Alex noticed that all the guards he saw had the same blank expression. It reminded him of something Lyra had told him about her curse, how males lost their ability to think for themselves. Then, he heard Lyra's voice echoing from a nearby corridor. She sounded frightened. Alex followed the sound and found her cornered by 6 guards near the entrance to the palace's lower levels. She was using her psychic powers to hold them back, but she looked exhausted. "Lyra," he called out. She turned in surprise. "Alex, what are you doing here?" "Trying to help." "What is happening?" "Lord Vex is staging a rebellion. He is using some kind of device to control the guards' minds." Alex looked at the blank-faced guards. Unlike Lyra, he had no psychic powers to fight them with. But he did have something else, unpredictability. "Can you hold them for 30 more seconds?" he asked. "I think so. Why?" "Just trust me." Alex ran toward the guards, shouting and waving his arms like a crazy person. The guards, programmed to capture threats in an orderly fashion, were confused by his chaotic behavior. They had been given specific instructions about how to handle Valyrian resistance, but no one had told them how to deal with a screaming human. In their confusion, their formation broke apart. Lyra used the opportunity to knock them unconscious with a focused psychic blast. "How did you know that would work?" she asked as they ran toward the maintenance tunnels. "I didn't," Alex admitted. "But sometimes the best way to beat a system is to do something it is not programmed to handle." They reached the tunnel entrance and climbed down into the palace's underground maintenance system. The tunnels were dark and narrow, lit only by emergency crystals. "Where do these tunnels lead?" Alex asked. "All over the palace. There is an exit near the power core, but Thoele stopped walking." "But what? If Vex controls the palace, he might try to overload the power core. It would destroy the entire building and everyone in it. He could claim we died in an accidental explosion." Alex felt his blood run cold. "How many people are in the palace right now?" "Thousands, servants, guards, nobles, visitors, all innocent people." They heard footsteps echoing through the tunnels behind them. Vex had sent controlled guards to search for them. "This way," Lyra whispered, leading Alex down a side passage. As they moved through the tunnels, Lyra began to cry. The stress and fear were overwhelming her. "I am sorry," she said. "This is all my fault. If I had not befriended you, if I had just followed the council's wishes—" "Stop," Alex said gently. "This is not your fault. You have every right to choose your own friends. But now innocent people will die because of my choices." Alex stopped walking and took her hands. "Lyra, listen to me. You are not responsible for Vex's actions. He chose to rebel. He chose to put people in danger. That is on him, not you." "But I am the princess. I should have seen this coming. I should have protected my people." "You are protecting them now. We are going to stop Vex and save everyone." Lyra looked into Alex's eyes. Even in this terrible situation, he was trying to comfort her. He was risking his life to help her save her people, even though he could have escaped to his ship. "Why are you helping me?" she asked. "You could have run away. You could have saved yourself." Alex was quiet for a moment. "Because I care about you, Lyra. I care about what happens to you. And your people. You care about me? More than I should, probably. More than is smart for a human diplomat. Despite everything, Lyra smiled. I care about you too, Alex, more than I have ever cared about anyone. They looked at each other in the dim tunnel light. Both of them realized that what they felt was more than friendship. It was love, real, honest love, not the artificial obsession that Lyra's curse created in other males. Alex, Lyra said softly, I think I love you. I love you too, he replied. For a moment, they forgot about the danger around them. For a moment, they were just two people who had found something special in each other. Then an explosion echoed through the tunnels, and reality came crashing back. The power core, Lyra gasped. Vex has started the overload sequence. How long do we have? Maybe 20 minutes before it explodes? Can you stop it? Not from here. Someone has to reach the core chamber and manually shut down the sequence. Then that is what we will do. They ran through the tunnels as fast as they could, following the sound of humming machinery toward the palace's heart. Behind them, they could hear the controlled guards searching, getting closer with each passing minute. Alex, Lyra said as they ran, if we do not survive this ... We will survive, Alex said firmly. We have to. We just found each other. I'm not losing you now. The tunnel ahead split into 3 directions. One led to the power core, the other 2 led to dead ends. That way, Lyra pointed as they reached the final stretch. They could see light ahead, the glow of the power core chamber, but they could also hear Vex's voice echoing from inside. 5 more minutes, he was saying to someone. Then the human problem will be solved permanently. Alex and Lyra looked at each other. They both knew this was their only chance to save thousands of innocent lives. They also knew they might not survive the attempt. Ready? Alex whispered. Ready, Lyra replied. Together, they stepped into the chamber to face Lord Vex and stop his deadly plan. Alex and Lyra stepped into the power core chamber. The room was huge, filled with massive crystal formations that hummed with dangerous energy. In the center, Lord Vex stood next to a control panel with glowing red warning lights. Princess, Vex said without turning around. I was wondering when you would arrive. Stop this madness, Vex, Lyra commanded. Innocent people will die. Vex finally turned to face them. His eyes were cold and angry. Innocent people? You mean the servants who have watched you shame our empire by befriending this primitive human? You mean the nobles who have lost respect for the royal family because of your foolish choices? Those people have done nothing wrong, Alex said. Stepping forward, you, Vex pointed at Alex with hatred. This is all your fault. You poisoned the princess's mind with your alien ideas. You made her forget her duty to the empire. I never made her do anything, Alex replied calmly. I just treated her like a person. She is not a person, Vex shouted. She is a princess. She is supposed to be above such common emotions as friendship and love. Lyra moved to stand beside Alex. You are wrong, Vex. Being royal does not mean being alone. It does not mean sacrificing happiness for duty. Look at you, Vex said with disgust. Standing next to this alien like he is your equal. Have you forgotten who you are? No, Lyra said firmly. For the first time in my life I remember who. I am not just a princess. I am a woman who deserves to choose her own path, Vex laughed bitterly. Choose? You think you have choices? You are the last of the royal bloodline. Your only purpose is to produce an heir and continue our dynasty. Then I will continue it, Lyra said. But I will do it with someone I love, not someone chosen by the council. With this human? Vex looked shocked. That is impossible. Humans are primitive. They live short lives. They have no psychic powers. Their children would be weak. Their children would be free, Lyra corrected. Free from the curse that has made me lonely for centuries? Free to love and be loved without destroying. Minds? Alex looked at the control panel. The red lights were flashing faster now. How much time do we have? 3 minutes, Vex said with a smile. 3 minutes until this entire palace becomes dust. The Empire will mourn the tragic accident that killed the corrupted princess and her alien friend. You are insane, Lyra said. You would murder thousands of people just to stop me from choosing my own happiness? I would sacrifice thousands to save millions, Vex replied. When the Empire learns that the royal family died because of alien corruption, they will never trust outsiders again. Our purity will be preserved. Alex studied the control panel while Vex talked. It was complex, but the basic principles were similar to Earth technology. If he could reach it, he might be able to stop the overload. Vex, Alex said, what if I left? What if I went back to Earth and never returned? Would you stop the countdown? Vex looked interested. You would abandon the princess? To save her life and the lives of innocent people? Yes, Alex, no, Lyra protested. Do not sacrifice yourself for me. It is not a sacrifice, Alex said, looking into her eyes. It is a choice. The same choice you made when you decided to be yourself instead of what others expected. Vex considered. The offer, you would leave immediately? Never contact the princes again, if that is what it takes? Very well, Vex said, reaching for the control panel. I will stop the countdown. But first, kneel before me and apologize for corrupting our princess. Alex started to kneel, but Lyra grabbed his arm. No, I will not watch the man I love humiliate himself for my sake. Lyra, please, Alex said gently. It is just words. Your life is worth more than my pride. And your dignity is worth more than my comfort, she replied. We face this together or not at all, Vex snarled in anger. Then you both die together. He turned back to the control panel, but Alex was ready. In one quick motion, he tackled Vex away from the controls. The two men fought desperately as the countdown continued. Lyra tried to help, but the control panel was too complex for her to understand. She could see that Alex was losing the fight. Vex was stronger and had psychic powers that Alex could not match. Then she had an idea. If Alex was immune to her curse because he had no psychic abilities, maybe he was also immune to other psychic attacks. Alex, she called out. Ignore his mental attacks. They cannot hurt you, Alex realized she was right. Vex was trying to confuse him with psychic blasts, but they had no effect on his human mind. Without that advantage, Vex was just another opponent. Alex broke free from Vex's grip and dove for the control panel. With 30 seconds left on the countdown, he began working frantically to shut down the overload sequence, but Vex was not finished. He pulled out a crystal blade and advanced on Alex. If I cannot have a pure empire, then I will have revenge. Lyra threw herself between them. The blade pierced her chest, and she collapsed to the floor. Lyra! Alex screamed. He forgot about the countdown and rushed to her side. The panel, she whispered weakly. Save. Everyone, Alex looked at the control panel. 10 seconds left. He had to choose between saving Lyra and saving thousands of other people. With tears in his eyes, he kissed Lyra's forehead and ran back to the controls. With 5 seconds remaining, he found the emergency shutdown and activated it. The red lights stopped flashing. The dangerous humming of the crystals faded to a safe level. The palace was saved, but Lyra was dying. Alex knelt beside her, holding her hand. Stay with me, he pleaded. Do not leave me now. I love you, she whispered. I am glad. I chose love. Over duty. I love you too, Alex said, crying openly. More than anything in the universe. Lyra's eyes began to close. But then, something unexpected happened. Alex felt a warm tingling in his hands where he touched her. Lyra's eyes opened wide in surprise. The bond, she gasped. Our love. It is creating a psychic bond. What does that mean? It means I can share my life force with you, and you can share yours with me. Do it, Alex said immediately. It will change us both, Lyra warned. We will be connected forever. You will gain some psychic abilities. I will lose some of mine. We will both live longer than normal but shorter than a typical Valyrian lifespan. I do not care, Alex said. I want to be with you, Lyra smiled and closed her eyes. Alex felt energy flowing between them, warm and powerful. The wound in her chest began to heal. At the same time, he felt his mind expanding, gaining new abilities he had never imagined. When the process was complete, they helped each other stand. Alex could feel Lyra's emotions as if they were his own, and she could sense his thoughts and feelings. "How do you feel?" she asked. "Different, but still myself. And you?" "Free," she said with a smile. "For the first time in my life, truly free." They heard footsteps in the corridor. High Counselor Zara entered with several guards, real guards, not controlled ones. "Princess!" Zara gasped when she saw Vex unconscious on the floor. "What happened here?" Lyra explained everything. When she finished, Zara looked at Alex with new respect. "You saved us all," the counselor said. "Perhaps. Perhaps we have been too quick to judge your people." Over the following days, news of Alex's heroism spread throughout the Valyrian Empire. The council met to discuss the unprecedented situation of a princess bonding with an alien. "The bond cannot be broken," Master Kor explained to the council. "They are linked for life now. If one dies, the other will too." "And you are certain this was created by genuine love?" asked Zara. "Absolutely. Such bonds can only form between beings who truly care for each other more than they care for themselves." After much debate, the council reached a decision. They called Alex and Lyra before them. "Captain Rivera," Zara announced formally, "by your actions you have proven that humanity deserves respect and friendship. By your love, you have shown that connections between species can make us all stronger." She turned to Lyra. "Princess, you have chosen a path no royal has ever taken before. But your choice has brought peace to your heart and salvation to your people. Therefore," Zara continued, "this council officially recognizes the bond between Princess Lyra and Captain Alex Rivera. We approve their union and name Alex as Prince Consort of the Valyrian Empire." Alex looked shocked. "I do not know if I am ready to be a prince." "You saved thousands of lives and won the heart of our princess," Zara said with a smile. "I think you will manage." 6 months later, the royal wedding took place. Representatives from dozens of worlds attended, including a large delegation from Earth. Ambassador Torres served as Alex's best man, though he still could not quite believe his assistant had married an alien Princess Dot as Alex and Lyra exchanged vows, speaking of love, partnership, and building bridges between worlds. Everyone present could see that this was more than just a political marriage. This was real love, the kind that changes everything. "I, Alex Rivera," he said, "promise to love you, support you, and stand beside you as we build a future together." "I, Princess Lyra," she replied, "promise to choose love over duty, happiness over tradition, and you over anyone else in the universe." When they kissed, sealing their bond in front of the galaxy, Alex whispered, "No more loneliness." "No more loneliness," Lyra agreed. They had found something worth fighting for. They had found each other.